This episode of Tech News Day is sponsored by Mugsy Jeans and by ShipStation.
Our favorite stories from the tech world often involve very rich and powerful people doing or saying stupid, ill-advised, tone-deaf things. And this week we've got a real doozy of that from Uber, a company once known for that sort of thing during the tenure of ousted CEO and founder Travis Kalanick, but not as much as of late. When Kalanick got edged out in 2017 after a series of scandals, Uber brought in Dara Khosrowshahi as their new CEO, and at the very least, he has managed to bring the appearance of steady leadership to the Uber brand.
Yeah.
But then, this week, he was asked about the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, and one might describe his response as sociopathic.
One might. All right, so some light background in case you somehow missed it the first time. Jamal Khashoggi was a Saudi journalist living in the U.S. who was very critical of the Saudi government. In October 2018, he entered the Saudi consulate in Istanbul to obtain some documents, but he never came out. Because while inside, he was assassinated, chopped up into little bits, and yeah. And that was all under the direct orders of Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Now, this was an awkward situation since MBS had recently visited the U.S. on a PR tour to whitewash Saudi Arabia's image. And extra awkward because a big part of MBS's leadership strategy has been to heavily invest in foreign tech startups, including Uber.
So, over the weekend on HBO's Axios news program, Dara Khosrowshahi was interviewed by journalist Dan Primack, and Primack brought up the fact that Dara had chosen to skip a big investment summit in Saudi Arabia last year that was right after the Khashoggi thing, with his reason at the time being that he wanted to wait for more facts to emerge. Primack then brought up the fact that now, a year later, the official consensus from the U.S. and other governments is that Mohammed bin Salman had a direct role in the killing. And so is that why Dara decided to skip this year's conference as well? Turns out no, according to Dara. He says it was just a scheduling conflict with a board meeting.
No, those always pop up, the scheduling conflicts.
They do. So Primack then says that, okay, sure, but if you really wanted to go, you could have just rescheduled. But Dara dismisses that by saying that board meetings are scheduled years in advance. So, okay. But if there hadn't been a scheduling conflict, would you have gone then? Quote, I don't know if I would have.
Well, we all know that, meetings are scheduled. Like, I got one in 2021.
Meetings.
And I can't move it around.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. So anyways, that's some expert CEO level dodging there. But luckily, Primack doesn't drop the issue. Next, he points out that the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund is Uber's 5th largest shareholder, and the head of the fund is on Uber's board. And he asked Dara if he thinks that board member should stand for re-election. Dara dodges again, saying that the Saudi board member is great and will only stand for re-election if he actually wants to. Primack then says, quote, but, well, from your opinion, he represents and works for a government which you believe had a role in the murder of a journalist who was a U.S. resident. Should that person be on the board of a U.S. company? That's a good question.
It's a good question. It's a, relevant question, getting to the heart of the matter. And that's when Dara comes back with, I think that government said that they made a mistake. Primack then shoots back with, well, they made a mistake and somebody's dead.
The biggest oopsie.
Yeah. Dara then replies, well, listen, it's a serious mistake. We've made mistakes too, right, with self-driving, and we stopped driving, and we're recovering from that mistake. So I think that people make mistakes. It doesn't mean they can never be forgiven.
It would have only been better if Khashoggi was killed by a self-driving Uber car.
Well, it raises a lot of questions now.
Yeah, really. Who was that transient?
Yeah. And was the person that the car killed, was that a direct assassination?
Could be.
These things sound like they're being equated.
Yeah.
So
it is weird that he brings that up in such a way that would equate it.
Throwing himself under the bus.
And that bus is powered by Uber's self-driving technology.
Yeah.
Primack then points out that a political assassination in which the CIA confirmed was ordered by the Crown Prince isn't really the same kind of mistake as a self-driving car not working correctly and running someone over, since Uber didn't intentionally run somebody over.
Right.
As far as we know. Dara then replies that he hadn't read the CIA report, then says that since Uber is a public company, the Saudis are just shareholders like any other shareholder. Jeffrey Dahmer probably owned a piece of Sears.
Probably. Who's to say?
Yeah. Anyways, that's it, though. And Dara apparently realized not long after the interview that essentially calling Jamal Khashoggi's assassination an oopsie was probably a bad look.
Not a great look.
So he emailed over a statement saying, quote, I said something in the moment that I do not believe. When it comes to Jamal Khashoggi, his murder was reprehensible and should not be forgotten or excused.
But it sounds like you're kind of excusing it.
Yeah.
Sir. Yeah, so that entire exchange was under 2 minutes, by the way, during which the reporter got the CEO of Uber to not only downplay a major political assassination as just a goof, basically, but also inexplicably imply that Uber's whole self-driving vehicular manslaughter thing that we've covered as well was it was an equally bad mistake as a political assassination.
Yeah.
I mean, it was masterful, ninja-like journalism. He was undeterred, especially considering all of that sociopathic dodging and deflection by Dara Khosrowshahi. Two titans entered the ring. But also note how that statement after the interview, it doesn't actually really clarify anything.
No.
The whole line of questioning was basically, these are bad people, right? So why are you working with them? But we still never got an answer, though we all know what the answer is, and it's money. Yes, what happened to Jamal Khashoggi was terrible, but also the people who did it give us a lot of money, and if I directly condemn them for it, they might take the money away, so I guess fuck human rights, because profits come first.
Yeah. I mean, the WWE has had accidents where wrestlers have died in the ring, so that's why it's fine for them to go do Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia.
It's the same thing.
Even if a couple of the wrestlers get stuck at a Saudi airport and can't make it to SmackDown.
It happens. It happens all the time.
Of course. Unsurprisingly, these remarks have triggered calls to boycott Uber for what feels like the 100th time, all for different, unique reasons, which is nice.
Pretty cool.
But if you think you can just switch over to Lyft and fully clear your conscience, think again, because the Saudis have money in Lyft as well. Though not as nearly as much as they do in Uber, but
yeah, not as directly either.
the Kingdom Holding Company owns about 3% of Lyft, and while it's owned by one of Mohammed bin Salman's many royal cousins, it's technically a private company as opposed to the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, which is invested in Uber and is fully owned by the Saudi government. But in Saudi Arabia, as in China, the line between government investment and private investment is a bit blurry. In the case of both countries, actually doing a real boycott is somewhere between difficult and impossible, and that's just the way things are.
Very cool that we've let these two countries just, into all of our upstart businesses.
Here's the seat at the
door
table.
Open. You
Just
know what?
pulled the chair out for him. And
I don't care who you are. If you've got a wallet and it's open, come on in. When could this ever come back to bite us in the ass? Anyway, so that topic is a bit of a downer. So let's switch gears now to something fun. Earlier this year, the AI startup OpenAI, co-founded by Mr. Elon Musk, said that they had developed a machine learning-powered text generator that was so convincing that to actually release it would be dangerous. Unethical.
yeah.
Well, 9 months later, it seems like they've had more time to think about it, and it's not actually too dangerous to release because they've released it.
Oh, cool.
And now anyone can mess around with it on a website called Talk to Transformer. You just input some text as an initial prompt, and it generates a bunch of text to follow it. So let's try this sentence. TechNewsDay is a great show. I'm so glad I smashed that bell.
All right, here we go. TechNewsDay is a great show. I'm so glad that I smashed that bell. This show is one of the most entertaining I've ever heard. I don't think it has a whole lot of technical issues, and the only really technical thing is a couple times, I think that's one of those times when the bass is just a little bit too loud. That's about it. I think that you have to play a lot of shows in order to really have a great time, because you're playing with a lot of people. It's kind of like when you go to a club, where everybody's so drunk, and you don't want to hang out with them anymore because everybody looks like they're wasted. You have to go back and go through all the good times and really try and remember everything that made that night special. It tells everyone to watch it constantly.
It's like a real person.
But it also sounds like a downward spiral where if you continue watching the show, it gets worse.
Yeah.
So maybe don't do
Cautionary tale.
No.
So yeah, that's so real that it's almost dangerous.
How will people not know that that wasn't written by a human?
Let's try a topical prompt like Christmas is under attack.
Okay.
Christmas is under attack. The most obvious place to look is in the media. The right-wing media is in the hands of an openly racist man-child and a small but vocal subset of white supremacists. The left has been silent, and it is now time for them to come out and speak up. This is not the first time this has happened. A few months ago, the New York Times published a story about a racist white man who was on a Facebook page called the National Socialist Movement. The story was quickly corrected after it was exposed as a hoax. The Times has a history of covering up for racism. This article is the latest example. We are calling on the New York Times to correct this article and apologize to Mr. Trump. Sign the petition.
It's like a human wrote it. Yeah, it's a real loop there. It's they had me in the first half.
Yeah.
I'll admit it. But it's really brought it all back.
Yeah.
I don't know. The AI must be masterfully built to be a enlightened centrist.
It's the most enlightened centrist.
Yeah. All right. How about pee is stored in the balls? Okay. Here's the story that was written based off that prompt. Pee is stored in the balls. The balls have been made from rubber to improve the grip. The ball is placed in the holder after a set time, 15 minutes for the first ball. The holder allows the user to change the ball. The holder is used on the handle to ensure that the user can manipulate the ball without using their hand.
Wow.
Okay, well, we've tried pee. Not really pleased with the results so far, but let's try poo. And here's the prompt. Blippi pooped on his friend.
Blippi pooped on his friend. Oh my God, he said. He's going to die. You know, he had a really good day, says the owner. I was thinking, you know, that might be one of the best days of the year. I didn't have anything to eat, so I was thinking it might not be such a good day after all, says the pooper. It's just one of those things that happen, says the owner. When you've had a bad day, you don't want to see the pooper go. The owner then adds, I just wish I'd known it was him that was pooping. This story originally appeared in the February 2013 issue of Popular Science magazine.
So far, I don't even think that elementary school students could use this to cheat on book reports.
No, it's just nonsense.
It's gobbledygook.
Yeah.
Oh, God, okay. This was too dangerous to release?
That's what they said. It's a very Elon thing to say.
Well, okay. And let's do one last one based on the fact that we did play a round of golf before coming in today. Let's input the phrase, Elliot and Ricky played golf this morning. Elliot and Ricky played golf this morning. Ricky hit his tee shot off the roof. Elliot said he hit the same tee shot and his ball dropped. Howard told Elliot that he is so jealous of Ricky. He said he has a golf club in his hand. He said that Ricky has a nice round too. Howard said that he was at the golf course and he could do it all day. Howard said that he has a lot of stories about golfers. He said that he played with this guy and he was hitting balls to the left. Then the golfing instructor said he's going left to help his friend. Then Elliot and Ricky went down and got into the water and they were hitting the ball to the left and he was hitting the ball to the right and they had hit it over a hole. Howard said that he's a good golfer and he played with a guy who didn't get it at all. He said that he was the worst.
Who's Howard?
The AI's like, they're like, golfer names. Oh, Howard.
Howard the golfer.
Howard the golfer. Everybody knows a Howard that plays golf.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought going out and playing golfing would help my cold. It's gotten worse. So,
all the cut grass going into your nasal is it's not good.
Sorry, my voice this episode and probably for the rest of the week, but turns out fresh air doesn't do a body good.
No.
I should have stayed home drinking orange juice.
No, you want to go inside of a hospital with all the windows closed and breathe that clean hospital air.
Yeah. I need a HEPA filter. I'm blaming it on the fires.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, none of that seems all that different than other neural network text generations that
arguably
we've seen
worse.
and used on the show.
Worse.
It does still generate text seemingly out of thin air that at least seems like it was written by a human, though a weird human. It's fascinating.
Child.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's a bit creepy, just, knowing that this is coming out of nothing. And you can spend all day on this website just inputting words and sentences and seeing what comes out and not get bored. I found a lot of the results I was getting that I couldn't use were highly pornographic.
Well, that's because it's much, I'm assuming much like the Microsoft Twitter bot. It's
just the internet.
Yeah. Hey guys, help our AI learn.
Just feed the entire internet into the AI.
And as we've said before, it's a perfect example of the radicalization of anyone online.
Yeah, it really is.
Turns out a lot of people are into porn now more than being openly racist, but
yeah, I didn't even try anything with racist undertones, but I
feel like it would have done better if you'd put more information in, like a whole paragraph to go off of.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I need to mess around with it more. It is a lot of fun.
But this is what's crazy is like this is one that was owned and developed with Elon Musk's money, and the one that was made by that guy on his own was much better than this, I thought.
Yeah, and they all use the same.
Yeah, basic like coding.
Yeah, you just feed it a bunch of text and then
it learns.
It learns how text works.
Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of creepy AI things that we've seen before, here's something much more creepy. AI voice generation or voice cloning.
Oh, this is actually good that my voice sounds like shit now.
Yeah, we could have cloned it with this new technology.
Yeah. Anyways, 3 years ago in November of 2016 at that year's Adobe Max event, Adobe showed off Voco, which could generate realistic speech in anyone's voice using just 20 minutes of audio of that person speaking. Jordan Peele was on stage hosting the panel and was visibly uncomfortable with the demo, which featured Keegan-Michael Key's voice just saying whatever was being typed into a computer. 3 years later, and with the rise of deep fakes, Adobe hasn't showed off FOCO again or even talked about it, but other companies have since worked on similar things.
Yeah, so one such company is the Google-owned DeepMind, whose software WaveNet was used in some research that, upon closer inspection, was actually published over a year ago, but it was featured this week on the YouTube channel 2 Minute Papers, which does brief overviews of AI research papers. We're not going to even try to explain exactly what's happening here, but it seems that by using WaveNet in a specific way, with 2 other neural networks used in text-to-speech, it's possible to generate believable fake voice audio with just 4 or 5 seconds of source audio. So here's some source audio.
The Norsemen considered the rainbow as a bridge over which the gods passed from Earth to their home in the sky.
And here's some new sentences based off of just those few seconds.
Take a look at these pages for Crooked Creek Drive. There are several listings for gas station. Here's the forecast for the next 4 days. Here's some information about the Gospel of John.
Yeah, real creepy.
Cool.
And again, that's from over a year ago. You combine that with video deepfakes and with text generators' abilities to emulate the writing style of whatever you feed it, and you've got yourself a near future where we're going to have to seriously wonder whether what we're seeing and hearing with our own eyes and ears is even real.
Yeah, it's upsetting.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
It's, I don't like it at all.
We're going to it's going to be the quickest society. I mean, I guess it's the first time, but I feel like there's going to be a mass disconnect, in the sense that younger generations are going to be like, fuck this, and just completely disconnect from the internet and entertainment.
I think they might embrace it.
That could be true, too.
It's all very scary.
I guess the olds will be the one that disconnect.
Yeah, the olds are going to be the ones that's not a real person, that's a robot. And the kids are going to be like, what are you talking about, boomer? This person's as real as any of us.
Yeah. And they deserve rights.
Like yeah.
Give the robots rights.
That's going to be the next civil rights
Robots
battle.
United.
Yeah. Anyways, it's time now for an ad break. This episode is sponsored by Mugsy Jeans, the most comfortable men's jeans ever made. Mugsy jeans are real jeans that feel as comfortable as sweatpants. The magic is in Mugsy's proprietary fabrics, which include a blend of high-tech materials that make these jeans mind-blowingly soft and flexible. Best of all, Mugsy's come in a stylish fit that's not too baggy but not too tight, so you look even better than you feel.
If you want comfortable jeans that look good, Mugsy jeans are for you. The folks at Mugsy are so confident you'll love them that they offer free USA shipping and returns, so your comfort is 100% guaranteed. Do your legs a favor, grab your own pair of jeans that are sweeping the nation by heading to Mugsy.com, that is MUGSY.com, and use promo code NEWSDAY, all one word, for $10 off. Again, that is Mugsy.com, use the code NEWSDAY, and you'll get $10 off.
And this episode is sponsored by ShipStation. The holiday rush is coming, and if you sell stuff online, you better get ready with ShipStation. With more people buying online than ever before, you have to be able to ship orders out quickly, efficiently, and affordably. But how do you keep track of all these orders, or decide which shipping carrier to use, or know if you're getting the best rates? Luckily, ShipStation can help. With just a few clicks, you'll be managing orders, printing labels, and getting those products out the door and delivered on time for the holidays.
No matter where you're selling, Amazon, Etsy, your own website, ShipStation brings all your orders into one simple interface, making them easy to manage from any device, including your phone. ShipStation works with all the major carriers, including USPS, FedEx, and UPS, so you can compare and choose the best shipping solution for you and your customers. They even offer big discounts on shipping costs. Now any business can access the same postage discounts that are usually reserved for large Fortune 500 companies. You'll always know that you're getting the best deal.
No wonder ShipStation is the #1 choice of online sellers. You'll ship more in less time with the best rates available. Take the hassle out of the holiday shipping this year. Let ShipStation help you handle it all with ease. Just use the code NEWSDAY to get a 60-day free trial. That is 2 months free of no hassle, stress-free holiday shipping. Visit ShipStation.com, click the microphone at the top of the page, and type in NEWSDAY. That's ShipStation.com, offer code NEWSDAY. ShipStation. Make ship happen.
We all know ship happens.
We got a lot of other ship to cover, so
Yeah.
back to the news.
Since my voice is off, if anything sounds off, you could just replace it with the voice generator.
Yeah.
That'd be perfect.
Well, I can't afford any of that shit.
Oh, it costs money?
And it seems complicated to run.
Oh, okay. All right, well, what were we talking about before? The creepy stuff. Well, here comes some more creepy stuff. Did you maybe receive some weird text messages last Thursday night? Or maybe someone said they got a text from you, but you swear you didn't send it. It wasn't me. Well, this actually happened to a lot of people, and now you have an excuse. You can say whatever you want. It was very maddening, and in some cases, a terrifying experience. Text messages from friends, family, boyfriends, girlfriends, exes, even some dead people. And none of that made a whole lot of sense, and not just because some of the people who sent it are dead.
Yeah, so what made this especially weird was that the issue seemed to be affecting all brands of phones across all mobile carriers. And that's because, as it turns out, the culprit was a third-party company that no one's heard of called Syniverse. They apparently handle SMS technology for the big carriers in some way because mobile phone communications is actually a lot more complex than just the 4 big brands. A lot of subcontractors. We're not still entirely clear on what exactly Syniverse does, but it sounds like in this case, the ghost texts were messages sent between different mobile carriers. So they're like a middleman.
Yeah, maybe they were caught in a net and they finally shook the net out.
Yeah. The internet.
Yes. All this internet all over the place is catching all these text messages. Syniverse says that while doing some routine maintenance on their infrastructure, around 168,000 previously undelivered text messages from on or around February 14th of this year were sent out. The perfect day for the awkward text message to have not gone through, only to go through 9 months, 10 months later.
A lot of people are getting messages from their exes and they're like,
what
the fuck?
Might have worked out in some cases. Good for
maybe.
them. So it raises a lot of questions, like why were these 9-month-old text messages just sitting around on Syniverse servers? How many more text messages were or are they storing? 9 months, it's quite a backlog, and if this is unusual, what is usual?
Yeah.
This whole situation, it's just a great reminder that when you hit send on a text message, where that message travels before it reaches its target is basically a complete mystery, and that's kind of unsettling.
Yeah, the idea that just some random shit you sent like almost a year ago was sitting on some random company's server and it just fell out randomly.
Just shook it out.
Yeah.
Shook out the net.
I don't like that. Anyway, speaking of not knowing where your data is and who has access to it, turns out Google may have your health records.
Oops.
But how is that possible, you ask, when you absolutely have not granted your consent for Google to have your health records? Isn't that a violation of HIPAA laws? Well, no, not technically at least. The Wall Street Journal reported this week that Google's been working on something called Project Nightingale for the last year in collaboration with Ascension, the U.S.'s second largest health system with hospitals and medical practices in 23 states. And since health laws allow for medical records to be shared without consent between healthcare companies and their business partners, it's totally fine and legit that Google has your health records.
Yeah. This obviously sounds very creepy and very dystopian, and it kind of is. But on paper, this is just Google doing business with the healthcare industry to modernize their record keeping and use artificial intelligence to analyze patients' files and notice things that doctors might have missed. Google insists that the medical data isn't being combined with any other Google consumer data that they have on you, and that this is all being done safely and securely. Still, though, the thought of Google having 50 million people's medical records, including names, birth dates, addresses, family members, allergies, immunizations, radiology scans, hospitalization records, lab tests, medications, medical conditions, and billing claims, it's all a little unsettling.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, it is unsettling.
Yeah.
It would be more unsettling if it was maybe, I don't know, Facebook
Yeah.
also getting into the health business. And God knows they've got someone in a room somewhere
Working away at it.
actively working on that.
Yeah.
The thing that makes me more okay with this than I would otherwise be is that hospitals have proven time and time again over the last few years.
They're invulnerable to hacking.
They cannot be trusted with technology. They don't know
By
what the
invulnerable,
fuck
I
they're
mean
doing.
very vulnerable.
They are very vulnerable.
Yeah.
They're getting hacked all the time. Like they fuck up with the records constantly.
Yeah.
And if bringing Google in to be basically
Somewhat,
healthcare big brother to run these people's servers makes that a little bit more secure, fine.
I mean, everyone's been asking to modernize healthcare for years, especially when you go to a doctor's office and you see an entire room dedicated to paper files.
Yeah, and you have
Just
to
like, this
fill
is-
out the same shit every time you go in there.
So
And,
it's,
they say that like the actual servers all this data is on are like private.
Yeah.
Google made the servers, but they're owned by the healthcare company, and they're not like directly connected to the rest of Google's servers. It's creepy, but it's like it seems like it might be a better option than what we currently have.
Sure. When I originally saw the headlines of this story, I thought it was more nefarious, like how Target knows that you're pregnant and sends you coupons. Like Google's like combing the medical files to see if you have like diabetes to be like, hey, by the way, here's some medication that might work for you, or like putting ads in there.
Yeah, that would be gross.
Yeah.
They say they're not doing that though. And I guess we have to take them at their word.
Yeah.
But also though, Google they've done other like collaborations with medical companies, and
Yeah.
like multiple times have gotten in trouble for like maybe not doing things exactly by the book. In
Yeah.
terms of privacy.
Well.
So, yeah, definite cause for concern, but also it's like,
Your shit is unprotected anyway at this point.
the feds are looking into it now.
Yeah. So maybe
As
that's
they should
good.
be.
Yeah.
Definitely seems like something they should have their,
Just never
Their
get
eyes
sick
on.
with any embarrassing ailments.
yeah. Or just go down to the country doctor.
Yeah.
Come on, doc, give me
Well, the
give me
good
some
news,
salt tablet, vitamin C.
as professional YouTubers, we get access to this.
Yeah.
You know, we pay like $50 a month, but we get access to it so that when people leave mean comments, we can look up their medical history and say, yeah, says the guy who has cancer, you fucking pussy. And we're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the many privileges that comes with being a YouTuber is you get to see the health records
Yeah,
of
all the
everyone
comments.
who leaves a comment.
Everyone that leaves a comment.
Yeah.
You guys suck. Yeah, well, you have anal warts.
Yeah, maybe stop eating so much diabetes too.
Yeah. So keep that in mind when you leave a nasty comment.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it for today's episode.
Yeah.
If you are a patron or a YouTube member or would like to become either of those,
Yeah.
we did a podcast this week that's up on those respective tabs and
We
or websites.
had a special guest for like 3 minutes.
a
Joel Rubin.
unwilling guest.
Yeah. Cold called him and he picked up. We're
Yeah.
real friends.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Sounds like it.
All right. Well, I'm going to go drink some more orange juice and take a nap so I can continue to do this show.
Just ask Google.com to what you should
Hook
do.
me
with
up.
it. Yeah.
No, I'm doing the Steve Jobs thing where I just shove fruit up my ass.
Well,
Yeah.
good luck.
He lived.